more shocked at anything, you know what I'm saying?
Welcome to The Undercurrent, your source for grassroots news. I'm Lauren Windsor, and today I'll make the case for firing Attorney General Eric Holder. From the tapping of the phone lines of Associated Press reporters to detaining American citizens without warrant or charge, to failing to prosecute Wall Street, Eric Holder has presided over what has arguably become the Department of Injustice.
Why?
You've been really involved with the Keystone Pipeline,
Yes,
protesting that.
exactly.
And what effect would that have on global temperature?
Sure. Well, it would play a big role if it's built in helping to open up these tar sands in Canada. Okay, and if the tar sands are fully developed, if we go ahead with all the Keystone Pipeline and then the other ones that would follow as they start to make lots of money from it, the effect could be pretty dramatic. Our most important climatologist, Jim Hansen, said it would be game over for the climate.
Welcome to The Undercurrent. I'm Lauren Windsor. Joining me for this special report on Citizens United is the big boss man himself, Cenk Uygur. Cenk, I know that you are totally passionate about Citizens United, repealing it, instituting public campaign financing, as am I. So tell us what you're doing with Wolfpack.
So Wolfpack is a little different than the other groups because we want to push for a constitutional convention.
Any comment on the resignation of Laney Brewer and the performance of the Department of Justice with prosecutions of the finance industry? Can you comment as to why there have been no prosecutions of bankers on Wall
Other
Street?
than to say I've been disappointed by the lack thereof. That's all I can say. That's all. I mean, I don't know what more I can say. I'm not going to identify people who should be prosecuted. That's, I think, inappropriate for someone in the legislative branch.
What I'm saying is, how do we make these traditional media outlets profitable, whether or not they're in print form or digital form?
Yeah, but I'm saying credibility is more important than profit.
I'd like to get back to the credibility issue.
Yeah.
What Ian was saying about credibility and the internet somehow leading to us losing credibility, I'd just like to remind us that we all trusted in the New York Times and the LA Times and the Washington Post as we marched up to war looking for these weapons of mass destruction.
Absolutely.
So we can overly depend on these very large institutions and just assume that they are more credible because they are the LA Times or the Washington Post.
I mean, I actually prefer a BBC, and that's what most countries have, at least something that's a public asset that is more answerable to the public than to the shareholders. But the direction that we're heading in, depending upon the diversity of the internet, will be, I think, a free-for-all with a group of Glenn Becks and Alex Joneses.
Welcome to The Undercurrent, your source for grassroots news. I'm Lauren Windsor. On Thursday, May 30th, environmental activists gathered in downtown Los Angeles to launch Californians Against Fracking, a coalition of more than 100 groups, including Food and Water Watch, the Center for Biological Diversity, Credo Mobile, and Family Farm Defenders. Joined by Josh Fox, director of fracking documentary Gasland, they tried to deliver a petition with more than 100,000 signatures to Governor Jerry Brown to request a ban on fracking in the state. Welcome to a special edition of The Undercurrent, your source for grassroots news. I'm Lauren Windsor, and joining me today is Occupy activist and co-founder of the Paul Robeson Freedom School, Justin Wheatus, who is on the ground in Istanbul, Turkey. We're on day 6 of protests that began with a demonstration to protect an urban park from development. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for going through all this. I know it's been kind of a struggle to get you on with Skype. On Friday, March 22nd, Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, former Vice President Al Gore, and Sierra Club Executive Director Michael Brune gathered for a press conference at the LA Department of Water and Power to announce that the city would be coal-free by 2025. The mayor said that he would replace coal in part with natural gas. I was the only, and I repeat, only reporter to ask a question during this press conference. Here's the question.
I'll take a few questions from the press, and if there are no questions, all is good. We'll take some pictures. Thank you very much. Who are you with?
I'm with the Young Turks, the Undercurrent.
Oh, yes.
So you had mentioned that you would 40% of energy comes from these 2 coal power plants, and that one of the sources that you'll use is natural gas. Will the city be obtaining that natural gas through fracking?
No, I don't. We won't. I can tell you that plant will be about 60% the size of the coal plant. We'll also be able, with these agreements, to be able to continue to use those transmission lines where we'll be able to bring solar and wind power to our city. Thank you very much.
Note that I was only allowed the one question, and then the mayor quickly declared the session over. I asked him again during our brief interview. So I asked prior about replacing that particular fuel source with natural gas, and you had said that it will not come from fracking. Is that correct? None of the natural gas that will replace the coal will come from fracking?
Fracking at that site, no.
It's a red herring from company CEOs to say, oh, well, the costs are going to go up on everything, and it's really a negligible overall rise. I mean, I would certainly spend $20 extra a year on my shopping trips in order to see that people were getting fairly compensated. On Sunday, February 17th, nearly 50,000 people gathered in Washington, D.C., and a few thousand in Los Angeles to highlight the issue of climate change. I was on the ground at Los Angeles City Hall and spoke with Congressman Henry Waxman, actor Orlando Bloom, and musician Cliff Tasner of the Billionaires. What legislation are you working on currently that would advance some of the initiatives here today? As a legislator, would success in the divestment campaign put pressure on you to enact tougher restrictions on fossil fuel companies? Harsh austerity measures that have caused a steep spike in unemployment and a dramatic decline in wages have the global middle class crying mayday. While Congress moves swiftly to remedy the flight afflictions of the affluent, it has moved like molasses in every other respect in undoing the damage of the sequester. We must stop listening to lobbyists and start listening to labor. Bottom line, Mother Earth is the ultimate casino dealer. We humans may take a few hands, but the house always wins. Get involved in the movement to halt climate change today. Bottom line, it's time for a new paradigm. Don't be surprised when your economic model of infinite growth hits the hard economic reality of finite resources. The time is now to stop the corrupting influence of money in politics. I'm Lauren Windsor. Thanks for watching. Get pulled in to the undercurrent. Bottom line, frack is whack, kids. Hydraulic fracturing employs chemicals that are known carcinogens in order to break up rock formations and get out that precious oil and gas. Over 1,000 cases of groundwater contamination near drill sites have been documented. Fracking poses major risks to public health and groundwater. It is the duty of the federal government to protect the people and not the petroleum industry. I'm Lauren Windsor. Thanks for watching. Get pulled in to the undercurrent.
The truth pulled over my eyes with the evil forces that compromise my state of mind. Have I been hypnotized to believe in lies?